Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be installing these Amazon soffit lights that I have here, these little flat 4-inch ones. If you saw one of my other videos, I did the same installation on my soffits out in the front near the garage. Today what we're going to do is install these same lights on the outdoor patio on a drywall or a sheetrock ceiling. If you guys are interested in the same product, check out the links down in the description to Amazon where I bought these. So I'll go ahead and show you these lights up close and then we'll get started with the installation. So what we got here is these flat 4-inch low profile recessed cans I just install right into the ceiling or the soffit, or a 4-inch cutout that you have here. These have a selectable color between 2700K up to 5000K. That's 5 different selections on here. And these are the second brand I've tried. When I did the original one on my soffits, I tried a different brand that only had 3 selections. I found these and I figured it's a similar product, so I'll give it a shot. The driver box is constructed a little differently than the other one. It's a little bit thinner, but it still does the same job. It's got all the knockouts and everything on it. The other one was a little bit smaller and it was a thicker gauge metal. So these come with the weather-tight connections that screw between the light and the driver. And then for the connection into your house or your building, you've got these push-in Wago style connectors that these come with, and they connect to your power and your daisy chain along the way as you go. So you just use the push connectors. If you don't feel comfortable using push connectors, you could always use your traditional wire nuts, but these push connectors for lighting make it really easy to install. So these lights I got are 10 watts and they're rated for 700 lumens, which is a pretty poor lumens per watt. I've noticed that they actually perform much brighter and better than they're rated. Out my soffit, the ones I used out there were 9 watts with similar lumens, and I ended up having to dim them down just because they were so bright. These are all ETL rated and they conform to the UL standard, so they should be good to install in your house. The way these work is you drill a 4-inch hole, a little bit larger than a 4-inch hole, and you squeeze them through with the little tab connectors all around there, and those spring-loaded tabs actually hold this thing up into the drywall, and there's a little tiny seal around the edge that keeps it sealed to the ceiling. Also, to confirm, these are also dimmable using your normal line voltage dimming. I'm using these out front using different dimmers, and they all work perfectly fine. Some of these do come with a list of dimmers that are compatible with, but you can try other dimmers, and usually most of them work down to a certain point. So here in my outdoor patio, I actually have very little light. The only light I have is from the ceiling fan. It's very poor at night. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install 6 lights out here to create a nice even pattern. I'm gonna have one basically right here, one in between there, and then one on this side on both ends so they match. The first thing I need to do is actually take this thing down. There's actually 2 power sources going to here because I checked the switch box inside. They only wired one of them and they probably left the other one blank. I'm gonna end up putting a double gang inside with 2 switches. I'm gonna wire it up so I have one for the ceiling fan and one for the soffit light. So I have independent switches. But the location of the holes I'm gonna drill, I'm gonna have to look for the beams and try to avoid the beam. That way I don't end up hitting a beam when I'm drilling the holes for these 4-inchers. Since these are only 4 inches, it'll be hard to hit a beam, but you wanna make sure that you don't hit a beam when you're doing this, so you wanna use a stud finder to find one. So inside here, as I was explaining earlier, that red wire right here, which is in the 14.3 Romex, is actually a dead wire that goes back to the switch that's not doing anything. The intention of that is to have dual switching for your light and your fan, and most fans and most light outlets have it set up like this. So we're gonna leave the black and white to control the fan, and then use that on the new switch that I'm gonna install on the inside of the house. So what I wanna do is install a light right between here, kind of down the center. I'm just afraid there might be a beam. It looks like the way the drywall is, the beam is going that way, and there's another beam right there that's going that way from just where it's cracking, but that just could be a joint for the drywall. So just to confirm that, I'm gonna use a stud finder and try to find all my studs up. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure about maybe like 18 or 20 inches from the wall here, where I'm gonna mount the first light, and I wanna be right in line with the ceiling fan. So I'm gonna just kind of eyeball it and make sure I'm on the same line. I want to be far enough off the wall where it's not bouncing all the light off the wall, but I also don't want to be above the huge blades of the fan. So I think like 18 to 20 inches is a perfect spot right here. That's 20-inch spot right there. And then let me see how far I am from the center of this. So it's about 4.5 feet. That's 54 inches off of there. So that should be good. I'm gonna go measure the blades and the thing to make sure that I'm not more than 4 feet on those blades. But I think those blades are about 3 feet plus the center. And then from here, I wanna be able to line it up, make sure I'm square. So I'll get down and look at that. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna mark the 4-inch hole first. I'm gonna actually punch some holes here to make sure I'm not hitting any studs before I drill. This kit comes with this circle, which is 4.25 inches wide. My drill is only 4 inches, so I might have to do a little bit of trimming around the edges once I cut it. What you wanna do first is just find where you mark your spot, kind of put this up with a thumbtack. I'm gonna draw the circle, and to draw the circle, I'm gonna make sure all around here I don't hit a stud. Also make sure I eyeball it to make sure everything looks like center, and I'm happy with the spot before I drill. All right, so once you cut this hole, you have pretty much access to see everything that's above the ceiling. So what you wanna do is put your phone or your camera above here, start taking pictures all around to kind of see where everything's located. As you can tell, along here, all the way from this end to this end, I'm pretty much open to run my wire. There's no beams or anything that's going across this way that's gonna interfere with me. What I need to do is on the outside there, once I get near the eave, you'll notice there's little beams along every maybe 18 or 20 inches or whatever the standard is. So I need to try to avoid those. So the first thing I'm gonna do is actually cut the ones out here after I cut the ones on the opposite side, and that way I know exactly where I need to be so I don't miss it, and then I can match it on this side where I don't have any obstructions. So the first thing I wanna do is probably try to run the wire between here and out there. I have a knockout right here I'm gonna open up. Hopefully there's nothing above here, but I have a feeling there's a 2x4 that they're using to support the ceiling fan. So I might have to drill through there to try to get my wire over. I wanna pop this knockout out and see what I have above here. Yep, so I have 2x4 there, so I may have to just drill that through, and then that way I can get my wire over, because the only other knockout is the one where the wire is coming in. So I really have no room there to try to get another 14.2 through there. One of the things you can try to do too is this box is actually mounted to the 2x4 using 3 screws here. You can unscrew that and try to drop that whole box and see if you can work above there, and then just screw it back up when you're done. That thing came off pretty easily with the 3 screws on there, but what I see above is 2 2x4s actually mounted vertically, so it's gonna be impossible to drill through that to get that second knockout. So what I'm gonna have to do is basically do some wiring above here, and then just push this back through and pull the wires through I need to wire into the circuit, and then have everything above there using that little slot that's open right there with the knockout and the strain relief right here. So next, what we're gonna do is get this thing ready to wire up there in the ceiling. So you can do most of this on the ground. So first thing you need to do is knock these knockouts right here off. Just use a flathead, just bend it back and forth, and it pops right out. Careful, this thing is pretty sharp on the edges. So just bend it, and then you can use some pliers to pop it out. So then you wanna get some these bushings, these black bushings that I bought. They're 1/2-inch bushings. You push it in there, and this keeps your wires from scuffing and cutting against the metal. So what you want to do there, and then you want to use these Wago push-ins. Make sure you get all these things pushed in nicely and firm, because you're going to end up pushing the wires up top in also. Like I said, if you don't trust these, you go ahead and use traditional wire nuts and just push them in. So we just want to go ahead and push these all in, and then just pull them out. Make sure you get nice, firm, nice and secure now. So we go ahead and go up top and wire up the first light. So now we're at the first light that I'm going to wire up. I've already stripped these wires right here back where I need them. Just go ahead and put them through the hole where the grommet I just put in, or the bushing. Kind of put it in there, and then you can bend the wire. You could also get, instead of these bushings, you could get strain relief bushing so it doesn't pull back out. So I already pushed the neutral in. You always want to go ground, neutral, and then hot if you're wiring up hot, but there's no power right now, so I don't have to worry. Push that in. These things also have these 2 holes right here. If you have like beams or something to screw it into above the ceiling, you go ahead and use that and just screw it in. For my installation, I'm just gonna go ahead and just put it in here, lay it on top of the drywall above the ceiling. Just wanna go ahead and just bend this wire so it doesn't pull back out. One of the things that you wanna do also is set your color temperature. That's one of the things right here. There's 5 different choices on it. I'm gonna go with 4,000 on my install, so it's gonna be the second one down. Don't forget to set that to the color you want, because you don't want to have it installed above the ceiling and then have to take it apart again. All right, so the next thing we want to install is our actual light and wire it up. Remember when I said that my drill bit was only a 4-inch and we needed a 4 1/4? What I'm gonna do is just trim where these 2 tabs are. That's usually in my previous installs where it's tight. So I'm gonna just trim those 2 sides, get those in. Test fit it, and if it clears, it looks like it clears, then you go ahead and just wire it up and then tuck it up in here. What we want to do is get these 2, mate them together. They only go in one way, and then screw it tight. So right now I've got it in there. It's not flush, so I'm just gonna trim a little bit more just to get it. So that's why we drew those lines before from the template. Perfect. So we'll go ahead and finish up all the install now. So we got these 3 on the outside installed. As you can see, it was pretty straightforward. Fishing that wire was a little bit of a pain in the ass, just trying to get it past the Raptors. I'm gonna go ahead and finish these 2 over here and then get this all set up, and I'll show you guys the final results. So inside here is the current switch that we have for the ceiling fan. It's a single gang, so what I'm gonna have to do is take this thing out, basically cut wider away from the beam and put a double gang box in here and put 2 switches, one for the new recessed lights and then one for the ceiling fan. Looks like we ran into a little hiccup here on this side where I thought we had some room. It looks like we hit the concrete block of the house. I'm gonna have to figure out what I can do, if I can chip away this block a little bit here in the corner to get the box in, or figure out how I'm gonna get on this side. There's a 2x4 over here, so I can't really move it that way. So I cut the opening as much as I can. I'm about to go get out the big guns and start hacking away at this. I'll probably just end up having to drill through this, hit it with a chisel just to get as much as I can so I get that box in. The problem is this is one of the corner pieces, so it's not hollow. So I actually fill in the center of all the cinder blocks for structural support. Looks like the electrician or the mason actually had to cut this hole out last time to get that thing in there. All right, so that diamond bit did a pretty good, easy cut of what we needed in here. So I'm gonna finish it up with a chisel and hammer. So all the little pieces right there, I first took a little bit out and then I went in deeper with the second half of it and was able to get all of it out. We were able to drill that out. I kept on using the diamond bit to actually clean up the edges a little bit, and then I used the chisel to knock everything out. Leah ended up helping me a little bit with that chisel, as you guys saw in the video. So we'll go ahead and get the box in here now and finish up the wiring and the new. So we got everything installed with the new GE Z-Wave switches all set up in my smart thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and put all this back together and we'll finish up the install. So here we have it. All 6 of these are on. I put the ceiling fan back and it's nice and bright in here. Look at how bright this is. Before I had like no light in here with the ceiling fan. I'll show you in a second what the ceiling fan looks like without these 6 new recessed lights, but now it's a much more usable space at night now. I can come out here, hang out by the pool. Everything looks nice, bright. That 4000K color is perfect, not too blue, not too yellow, and it goes perfectly for this area out here. Hey guys, thanks for joining me all the way to the end of this project. I'm putting these new lights out here in my patio. As you can see, this is a great space for entertaining during the summer. We can hang out by the pool with all this light now at night. If you guys found this video useful, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel to stay on top of all my different projects and everything I do around the house. If you're interested in any of the products that I use on this project, go ahead and check out the links down in the description. I'll link to everything I use, so that way if you guys want to try this project, you can do it too. Remember, for all these different projects, if I can do it, you guys can do it. That's why I make these videos, so you guys can have some confidence and do this stuff yourself at home. So I want to thank you guys for watching all the way to the end, and I'll talk to you guys next time.